It would be hard for him to say, I'm sure we wouldn't have done any better if I were there.
Yeah. That
would be very off-brand
at the World Cup.
Yeah. Welcome to 442's World Cup 2018 preview group stages. We are on Group F. We've already done Groups A to E. They were great. I hope you saw them. If you didn't, look around. They'll be on this page somewhere. But first, stick around for Group F. That's the one where Germany play. Ooh, Germany. Ooh, the Germans, along with Mexico, Sweden and South Korea. So, Germany are going to win this group and then the World Cup, right?
Yeah, obviously they're favourites to win this group. And up until recently, they were favourites to win the World Cup. I think Brazil have just kind of overtaken them because of their recent results, where Brazil beat Germany 1-0. But yeah, you'd fancy them to pretty much waltz through this group. They've got such big game and big tournament know-how.
Last time a country retained the World Cup, the Beatles hadn't released a record. Brazil, 1958, 1962. That's a long time. Is this generation that good? Is this squad that good that they can retain a World Cup? Or is it not like retaining the Champions League or the Premier League or any other?
I mean, I think they're capable of it for sure. I mean, what's also said about them is that they're very united, great team spirit. People have said they might have the best team spirit at the tournament, which can take you a long way. They've obviously got a lot of talent. You could even argue that the second string could potentially win this group. They're so strong as their squad. The one thing is, it's been a little bit overlooked, is the fact that the Euros obviously didn't get to the final. As much as people talk about 4 years ago, we can't forget that as well. So yeah, they're capable of winning it. Will they win it? Certainly not. It's, there's plenty of things that can go wrong along the way.
They've also lost a lot of tournament experience since the last World Cup. They've lost their Lahm and Klose and Basti Schweinsteiger, Podolski and Mertesacker. They've all retired. Not that the youth are rubbish. They've got some good lads coming through. Good, strong, promising lads. What worries me slightly about Germany is whether Neuer is going to be up to his game, because he makes a big difference to him. It makes a big difference to any team when you've got a sweeper keeper like that playing, and he's been injured.
Agreed, but Ter Stegen isn't exactly hopeless. He's not as good as Neuer, obviously, but compared to some teams, he's not the worst replacement in the world. I think the big thing with Germany is just their array of attacking talent. Like, if Leroy Sané is struggling to make the first 11, then you've got some proper players in your team. They've got Timo Werner, who you would have to say is probably an upgrade on Klose in that he can actually move. And Muller, just scores goals when it's important. A real big game player. So I can certainly see them going deep. You would imagine, they'll yawn through this group and then take whatever comes beyond that.
I think one other thing with that is that quite often if you get players that aren't playing, they might turn on the manager. But I think because Jogi Löw has been in charge for so long now, that he has basically brought every single player in that German squad into the squad. They're far less likely to rebel against him, which again makes a big difference for team unity. If everyone sticks behind him, then you get a united squad. Well,
they've still got to beat some people in the groups, and their opponents are Mexico, Sweden and South Korea. Mexico stand out. They always get through to the last 16, or they have for the last 6 tournaments, but they've never got further out except on their own soil in 1786. Are we looking at the same again?
It's very much seen as a curse, the last 16 for them now, particularly after what happened against Holland in the last World Cup when they lost a very controversial late penalty. So I think that's really driving them, and I think when you look at them compared to Sweden and South Korea in this group, their squad should be too good for those two teams.
And luckily enough for them, if they do finish second, they're probably playing Brazil in the last 16.
Yeah,
so they'll need to overcome that. Sweden, they haven't gone out in the group since 1990. Now, admittedly, for 3 times since 1990 they haven't qualified, but they've always gone through the group since then, and to the semi-finals in '94. But this squad looks a bit thin to me.
Yeah, I mean that's the big difference between the squads that got through before and this one. It's not at the same level, but not even close, to be honest. They did really well to qualify, really, to get past Italy. So I think, yeah, this is probably one of the weakest Sweden teams we've seen at the World Cup for a while. I think it might struggle to get through.
And there's an elephant that's in the room, or in this case not in the room. We talked in previous videos about Lionel Messi being short but leaving a long shadow. This is a tall man who leaves a long shadow, and it's called Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Even if he's not there, you still get the feeling he's going to dominate the Sweden narrative, because he's certainly not going to be quiet about it on social media.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to replace a player like that. But
yeah, his presence on and off the pitch, whether he's playing or not playing, adds pressure in a kind of in a way that probably never helps the team. If they lose their first game, and he sends a tweet suggesting that he should have been picked and should have played, undermines the team, undermines the manager straight away, and you know, it's the kind of thing that Zlatan does, because Zlatan does what Zlatan wants to do, and
yeah, it would be hard for him to say, I'm sure we wouldn't have done any better if I were there.
Yeah, that
would be very off-brand
at the World Cup.
And their first game is against South Korea. So that's one that you would imagine they're going to be highlighting 3 points in.
Both teams, really. You know, you would imagine it's the same for South Korea. Obviously, they have Tottenham's son coming off the back of a good season, and the one I mean, he's obviously by far their best player. He needs a good tournament for them to get out of the group, but he is a very streaky player. So.
Hasn't always excelled for his country as much as you might imagine for a player of his quality.
Yeah, so you know, if he can put together one of those streaks, then maybe they can surprise a few people. But it needs a sun streak to get them through.
In 6 of the last 8 tournaments they've gone out in the groups. I can't see that changing much, except to 7 times in the last 9. I don't know about anybody else. I'm also not. I would like Sweden to do well. It's good to see teams in yellow get by. It's nice to have a vibrant World Cup of colours. But then again, Mexico not exactly playing a muted grey, and I've got them down for going second. So what's your thoughts on who's finishing where?
Yeah, I agree. It seems like a Germany and Mexico 1-2. The only slight note of caution is that Mexico play Germany first. So if they take a shellacking in that first game, it might dent their confidence a little bit. Otherwise, that's how you expect it to go.
So that, as you've heard, we've got Germany going through top of Group F, Mexico also going along for a very small time after that. We'll be back soon with Group G. If you disagree with our thoughts, feel free to comment underneath this video. But, you know, you can also just agree with us if you want. I think you guys are smashing. Try that. You don't get that much on social media, do you? Join us next time.